Okay, basic trig again, and this time we're just going to have a quick look and ask ourselves what is an inverse, what does it mean in the context of basic trig, what is an inverse. So, let's just quickly sketch a triangle so we've got something to look at. We've got a right angled triangle, an angle, and relative to that, an opposite side, adjacent, touches the angle, the opposite side is opposite, and then of course the longest side opposite the right angle is the hypotenuse. And these give us the basic three trig ratios. So if we put theta degrees into sine theta, what comes out is opposite over hypotenuse, or the result of that. Doesn't come out as a fraction, it just comes out as usually as a decimal. Now the inverse is quite simple. If we know theta, we can get the trig ratio. Sometimes we don't know theta, but we do know the trig ratio. So if we know the trig ratio, we can come back, and the inverse is going to give us theta. And this here is the inverse. This is the inverse, and this in particular tells us it's the inverse. Now this is not an exponent. Not an exponent. It's just the way we write stuff. This is notation. Notation. The way we write stuff. So they all work like this. If we put theta into cosine theta, we get the trig ratio adjacent over hypotenuse. Well, coming back, the inverse cosine gives us theta. Similarly, theta into tan, the tangent gives us opposite over adjacent. Get it right. Opposite over adjacent. Inverse tan simply gives us back theta. And if we take a calculator, turn it on, clear it. Let's do sine 30 degrees. See this okay? Let's just adjust it. Yeah, not too bad. Sine 30 degrees. Hit enter. Well, the sine of 30 degrees is 0.5. Well, if we now say, well, we don't know theta, but we do know the inverse, we do know the 0.5, we hit second sine, we'll see the little negative ones appeared there. That is inverse sine. And we've done it through the second button. And you'll see the little inverse sine in yellow just above the sine button, inverse cosine above the cosine button, inverse tangent above the tangent button. If we now put in 0.5 there, and the parentheses hit that, yep, it gives us 30. So that's the way the inverse works. It effectively puts the calculator into reverse. So down here we've got our trig ratios. And the standard trig ratio going this way gives us our trig ratios. If we know the trig ratio, if we know the trig ratio, then we can come back and we can get theta. That's what it does. That's the way the inverse works. So it allows us to find the angle if we know the sides. If we know the measurement of these sides, we know the trig ratio, we can then find the angle.